The gentle hum of anticipation filled the air. The sleek Boeing 737 Flight 732 stood poised at the edge of the runway, its nose pointed towards the endless expanse of the sky.
Alright, let's complete these final checks.
Inside the cockpit, Captain Sawhill and First Officer Thompson completed their final checks. A digital symphony of beeps and whirs confirmed their readiness.
Flight 732, you are cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff. Flight 732.
With a surge of power, the engines roared to life, their powerful turbines a symphony of controlled energy. The aircraft shuddered, eager to break free from the bonds of gravity. Suddenly, red warning lights flashed ominously on the control panel, accompanied by a shrill, piercing alarm. Captain Sawhill's eyes widened in alarm as he registered the emergency. The pre-flight briefing had been routine. Captain Sawhill, a seasoned veteran with thousands of flight hours under his belt, reviewed the weather conditions with First Officer Thompson.
Skies are clear, winds are calm, perfect day for flying.
They went over the flight plan, a routine trip from bustling London to the vibrant city of Barcelona. The fuel load was confirmed, enough to reach their destination with ample reserves. Safety checks were meticulously completed, each instrument and system scrutinized.
Everything's looking good, Captain.
The mood in the cockpit was relaxed, confident. Years of training and experience had instilled in them an inherent calmness. Captain Sawhill adjusted his headset, a calm and focused expression on his face.
Ready to guide our metal bird and the hundreds of souls on board on another routine journey across the sky.
Little did they know, fate had other plans. The engines hummed, a low and steady drone that vibrated through the cabin. Flight 732 began its slow taxi towards the runway, joining the queue of aircraft awaiting their turn to take to the skies.
Taxiing to runway, all systems go.
Captain Sawhill maneuvered the massive aircraft with practiced ease, his hands moving effortlessly over the controls. Through the cockpit windows, the world outside was a blur of activity. Ground crew scurried about, their movements precise and efficient. Baggage handlers loaded luggage with practiced ease, their movements a well-choreographed ballet of strength and coordination.
Flight 732, proceed to runway 18 left.
Proceeding to runway 18 left, flight 732.
The air traffic controller's voice, a calm and steady presence, guided them through the maze of taxiways. Each instruction was met with a clear acknowledgement from Captain Sawhill, his voice a reassuring presence in the cockpit. The anticipation in the air was palpable, a mixture of excitement and nervous energy. With a surge of power, Flight 732 accelerated down the runway, the engines roaring their approval. The ground rushed by in a blur of color and motion, the familiar feeling of acceleration pressing the passengers back in their seats.
Rotating.
Captain Sawhill eased the aircraft into the air, the ground falling away as they soared into the azure sky. The roar of the engines changed pitch, a subtle shift that signaled their transition from earthbound to airborne. The ground crew shrank below, their figures becoming smaller and smaller as Flight 732 climbed higher and higher. The familiar feeling of weightlessness momentarily took hold, a brief sensation of freedom as they left the Earth behind.
Climbing to cruising altitude.
Up in the cockpit, Captain Sawhill and First Officer Thompson worked in perfect synchronization, their hands moving over the controls with practiced precision. They exchanged brief, professional glances, confirming their shared satisfaction as the aircraft continued its climb, the city sprawling beneath them like a meticulously crafted model. Passengers on board, some relieved, some excited, all looking forward to reaching their destination. Without warning, chaos erupted. A deafening bang echoed through the aircraft, followed by the shuddering tremor of the plane. The sweet smell of burnt metal and electrical wiring filled the cockpit.
Mayday, 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 this is Flight 732. We have an engine fire.
On the instrument panel, a red warning light, bright and insistent, illuminated the word engine fire.
Captain Sawhill, I'm going through the emergency procedures now.
The plane lurched violently, the sudden loss of power from the damaged engine throwing it off balance. Passengers screamed, their fear palpable in the confined space.
Oh my God, what's happening?
Oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling, a stark reminder of the potential danger they faced.
Mayday, 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 Flight 732 engine fire, requesting immediate assistance.
Captain Sahil repeated, his voice a beacon of urgency cutting through the static. He relayed their position, altitude, and the nature of the emergency, his words clipped and precise, each syllable carrying the weight of the situation.
Flight 732, this is air traffic control. We copy your Mayday. Assistance is on the way. Hang tight.
The response from air traffic control was immediate, their calm and reassuring voices now laced with a noticeable edge of urgency, acknowledged the Mayday call. They assured Captain Sahil that help was on its way, a lifeline of hope in the face of impending disaster. Every second felt like an eternity. Captain Sahil wrestled with the controls, fighting to maintain control of the crippled aircraft. First Officer Thompson worked feverishly beside him, going through emergency procedures, their movements a blur of coordinated action.
We're turning back.
Captain Sahil announced, his voice strained but resolute. He fought against the asymmetric pull of the damaged engine, maneuvering the plane with the precision of a surgeon wielding a scalpel. The aircraft groaned in protest, its metal frame pushed to its limits. Fear hung heavy in the air, a suffocating blanket of dread. The fasten seatbelt sign chimed insistently, its shrill tone adding to the cacophony of noise. Outside, the once serene blue sky was now a canvas of angry gray clouds, reflecting the turmoil unfolding within the aircraft. Time seemed to warp and distort, stretching into an agonizing crawl. Every second that ticked by was a victory, a testament to Captain Sahil's skill and the unwavering resolve of the crew. They were in a race against time, a desperate battle to bring their crippled bird and its terrified passengers safely back to the ground. The runway materialized through the cockpit window, a beacon of hope against the backdrop of the approaching storm. Emergency vehicles, their lights flashing, lined the tarmac, a stark reminder of the gravity of the situation. Adrenaline pulsed through Captain Sahil's veins, sharpening his focus to a razor's edge.
Gear down,
he commanded, his voice steady despite the tension coiling in his gut. The landing gear whined as it deployed, a reassuring sound amidst the cacophony of alarms and the shuddering of the damaged aircraft. The ground rushed closer, the details of the runway becoming terrifyingly clear. Captain Sahil and First Officer Thompson worked in unison, their faces bathed in the glow of the instrument panel.
Low altitude alert.
A robotic voice announced, heightening the tension in the cockpit. Captain Sahil fought to maintain control, his knuckles white as he gripped the control yoke. The plane was shaking violently now, the damaged engine threatening to rip itself apart. With a deafening screech of tires, Flight 732 slammed onto the runway. The force of the impact reverberated through the cabin, rattling bones and teeth. The plane bounced once, twice, its metal frame groaning in protest before skidding to a halt, trailing sparks and smoke. A collective sigh of relief swept through the cabin, drowned out by the cheers of terrified passengers. The ordeal wasn't over yet. The damaged engine, engulfed in flames, spewed thick black smoke into the air. Fire trucks, sirens blaring, raced towards the stricken aircraft, their crews ready to extinguish the inferno. Captain Sahil and First Officer Thompson, their faces bathed in sweat, completed their emergency procedures. The evacuation order was given, the cabin filled with the hiss of escaping air as emergency slides deployed. Passengers, some crying, some limping, all shaken to their core, slid down to safety, helped by the waiting emergency crews. The air was thick with the smell of jet fuel, burnt rubber, and the overwhelming stench of fear. As Captain Sahil and First Officer Thompson made their way off the plane, the gravity of the situation sunk in. They had faced their worst nightmare and emerged victorious, their skill and courage tested and proven. They had brought their crippled bird back to Earth, saving the lives entrusted to them. The ordeal had forged a bond between them, a shared experience that would forever link them. They were survivors.